Hi everyone, my name is Dina Driver. I'm an author, an editor, and a book publisher in Regina, Saskatchewan, Canada. My publishing company is Driver Works Inc., and I want to introduce you to some of the books that I have published. I am one of the authors, as I said, and I also work with other Saskatchewan and prairie writers. A lot of our books are true stories, and this is one that I want to introduce you to. This book is The Sailor and the Christmas Trees. It's a true story that I wrote, illustrated by Catherine Fonovich, and it's about the late John Hanlon from Brandon, Manitoba. John was about 90 years old when I met him, and there's a photo of myself with John, his wife Audrey, and good friend Elaine Rounds. So John was a sailor during the Second World War. He was docked in Newfoundland and convinced some fellow sailors to go up a hill and cut down some trees and hide them on the ship. John has been telling this story for decades to his family, so I wrote it as a Christmas story that you could read to children. It's also being read during worship services and at seniors' homes. John talked about going up the hill, as I said, in St. John's, cutting down some trees. He wanted to surprise his fellow sailors on the frigate. So on Christmas morning, their convoy was on the way back from England to Canada, and he pulled out these trees and surprised everyone. So the sailors used whatever they had on the ship and decorated the trees. And then later that day, another surprise. They found out that there was another ship in their convoy that was carrying some small children from England to Canada to safety. And they got permission to leave their spot in the convoy and pull alongside and send a tree over to make Christmas very special for the people on that ship, including those young children. It was decades before John found out that the children made it safely to mainland Canada. He knew they got as far as Newfoundland, but he wasn't sure whether they had made the last part of that journey. And so the story goes on to tell about when John actually met one of those children as an adult. It's quite a lovely book. My attempt at writing it, my goal in writing it, was to tell John's story as though John had been doing for decades to his family. I read the story to his wife Audrey because John, by the time I interviewed him, was unable to converse very well. And so Audrey honored me by telling me that she heard John's voice. So for a writer, an author, there's nothing greater than to hear that you have captured the spirit of the story. So I am a journalist by trade, and the back part of the book has the information about John. I did some research, I contacted numerous people, and wanted to make sure that I had the information about the ship, who was on it, when did they arrive, and all of that sort of thing. So there's information for those who love Canadian history. There is also a glossary for teachers to use with students, for our young readers, and that's it. That's the story of The Sailor and the Christmas Trees. You can purchase this and all of our books at driverworks.ca. I hope you enjoy The Sailor and the Christmas Trees.